Today is Hero Friday. Thank you for scooping time to join today's episode. As a continuation of our last week episode, we are still diving a bit deeper into No Rush to Mush and the introducing solid foods to the baby. So as we said last week, you would be starting around 6 months. And sometimes these are some common things that people normally ask. And we're going to use some of these common things to be able to answer or dive deeper into No Rush to Mush. And of course, before I end, we are going to look at some questions or myth out there to examine it, whether it is true or false in terms of introducing solid foods to your baby. So our first question we're going to look at, or subheading we're going to look at to be able to dive in, is why it pays to wait until they are ready. So you are breastfeeding, or maybe you are feeding baby on formula and it's around 6 months now. It's good to continue doing it because it gives the baby extra protection against infection. And it will continue to protect them for as long as you carry on. So whatever that you feed them, whether it's breast milk or infant formula milk, waiting for baby to be ready for real food will save you a lot of time, as they will quickly be able to feed themselves and create less mess. And also it gives them room and time to be able to learn to swallow properly. So first food, what are some of the foods that we should be feeding baby from 6 months, or once you start with your first stage of introducing solid food to baby? What are some of the first food that you should consider? So for baby's first food, you can include cooked vegetables like potato, yam, sweet potato, or carrots. Soft fresh fruits like banana, avocado, peach, melon are also very good for you to start baby on. Babies often like to start eating these by having them in finger foods, which I'm going to explain in a bit, or in a mash. You can also spoon feed your baby, although they will soon be able to do it themselves. Keep feeding mom's milk or infant formula as well, but don't give cow's milk as a drink until they are 1 year old. So what do I mean by that? Cow's milk is the normal whole milk that we drink as adults. Most adults consume it, even though it's not really for us. Yes, do not give any milk apart from breast milk or baby formula milk. The whole milk or cow's milk is recommended by NHS researchers and experts to be given to children when they are 1 year old. So you starting No Rush to Mush at 6 months makes it unsuitable for them to consume any cow milk, but ensure to continue with the breast milk or the formula milk alongside the cooked vegetables and the soft fresh fruits that I have mentioned. Finger foods. So finger foods, as I said earlier, are ways that children prefer their foods, especially when you're starting them on solid for the first time. And others also prefer it to be mashed. The mashed ones are easy to prepare and easy to be swallowed by them. However, most of them want to be crunching on some of this food for a longer time whilst they play around or they watch some funny toys or rhymes. Hence, let's dig deep into finger foods. So finger foods is food that cuts up into pieces big enough for your baby to hold in their fist and stick out of the top of it. So pieces about the size of your own finger works very well. Your baby learns to chew this way. So this also just do not satisfy the urge of their eating, but it also exercise or help them learn to chew. Remember those two ways I said, mash and finger foods. Mash is already mashed, so it doesn't teach them how to chew in the right sense. But with the finger foods, it pushes them to chew, and which is a good factor. However, study your baby and know which one your baby prefer, and then introduce the other one gradually or slowly. Is that okay? All right. Now let's look at some signs mistaken for a baby being ready for solid foods. Remember that last week as well, we looked at 3 signs that your baby will indicate or show or exhibit for you to know that they are ready to start on solid foods. And so I'm going to dive also into some signs that we see that sometimes we mistaken it as if baby is ready, but they might not be ready to start on solid foods. And the first one is chewing fists. Chewing fists. Okay, sometimes you see baby having a fist and they chew on it, and automatically we assume that baby is ready to eat food and he's craving to have a chew, and all the imaginations go on and on. This is a wrong interpretation of that sign. It does not mean that when you see baby chew on a fist all the time, it does not mean that they are ready for solid foods. The second thing that we mistaken it, or the second sign that we mistaken, is walking in the night when they have previously slept through. And then the third one is wanting extra milk feeds. These are all normal baby behaviors and not necessarily a sign of hunger or being ready to start solid food. Starting solid food will not make them any more likely to sleep through. Sometimes a little extra milk will help until they are ready for food. So as I've said, none of these 3 signs that I've mentioned, it means your baby is ready for solid foods. It might mean other things, like they being hungry at that time, or they being craving for something at that time, but it does not mean they are ready. Always, and I'll repeat, always consider the age before even thinking about introducing them to solid foods. Now, let's dive into our true or false question. The most commonly one that we normally hear out there or is being questioned is 1. Babies who are big for their age need solid food earlier than other babies. So I repeat, babies who are big for their age need solid foods earlier than other babies. What do you think the answer is? Comment it before I answer it. Is it true or false? Comment it below, let me know. Just 5 seconds. And it's great. So the answer is false. It's easier to see why people might think that. But remember that it's not going on the inside that counts. It's not what goes in the inside that counts. Babies are ready for solid foods when their digestive systems are developed enough to cope. And this normally happens around 6 months. But every baby is an individual. So if you think yours is ready, speak to a member of your health visiting team to confirm, or go back to our last week video to look at the 3 signs that is confirmed by NHS to show that baby is ready for solid food. But it is a big false, because we think, or experts think, that below that age of 6 months, most children's digestive systems are not ready enough for solid foods. And so it will be more harm than good to be feeding them on solid foods. Then we'll look at the last question or myth that runs out there, which is my baby needs to start eating before I go back to work or study. So I'll give you 5 seconds again. I repeat it. My baby needs to start eating before I go to work or study. Is it true or false? Comment it below. Comment it below before I answer. You know what you have answered. So mark yourself now that I'm going to be sharing the answer with you. It's a false. Your baby can begin eating food anytime you are together to fit in around your work or study, and they will soon get the hang of it. So far as your baby is 6 months and above, they can start feeding on solid foods based on your availability and how you can schedule to help them being fed. Remember, even though they start on solids, they still feed on their milk, formula milk or breast milk. And then as they come to know the routine at which you give them their solid food, they would also understand and adjust accordingly. I'm going to give you a bonus, one more question before I let you go for today. And that is, you shouldn't give your baby extra solid foods to stop them from crying. You shouldn't give your baby extra solid foods to stop them from crying. True or false? And the 5 seconds starts now. Comment your answer below. I'm waiting. The question is still on the screen. Refer back to the question and answer it in the comment below. So the answer is yes. Babies learn very quickly to use solid food or drinks from a bottle as a comforter. This could lead to weight problem later in life. A cuddle or a mom's milk is better. Okay? So you can cuddle them to stop crying. You can give them breast milk to let them stop crying, formula milk to let them stop crying, but don't give them extra solid food, even though you know they've taken the right quantity that they need to have for the day. Don't keep giving it to them extra just because you want them to stop crying. I hope today's episode has been helpful, diving deeper into the second stage block of introducing solid foods to baby. And these tips are going to be useful for that journey, and we are always glad to be part of the journey and to support you to have the journey more easily than I did. It's always been your lady, Miss Millie. Don't forget to share to help other mothers out there. Don't forget to share to help other mothers out there. Remember, the journey can sometimes be lonely. So helping somebody out there is saving a life. Until then, I will see you in my next episode on Hero Friday. Stay blessed and take care. Bye-bye.